A social media storm is brewing in India. Twitter says it is worried about the safety of its staff, claiming police have been using intimidation tactics. Delhi police visited Twitter's office after a tweet by Narendra Modi's ruling party was labelled as manipulated media. An opposition party had complained the post contained fake news about the government's handling of the pandemic. Now for more on this, Neha Punia joins us live. And Neha, Twitter joining a growing list of social media giants concerned about operating in India.
Absolutely. Now, India is a massive market for any tech firm because it's home to millions of internet users, and those numbers are swelling with every year because of cheap phones and cheaper data plans. But as lucrative as this market is, social media firms now realizing access to this market comes with having to deal with a government that's increasingly tightening its control over social media. In the past, the government has had similar run-ins with WhatsApp as well as Facebook, but this time around, Twitter, earning the government's ire for a manipulated media tag over a ruling party leader's tweet that it's refused to take down. In the last 1 year, we've seen similar confrontations between Twitter as well as the government when the Modi government asked the platform to take down several tweets about the farmers' protest, as well as tweets criticizing the government's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, Twitter complied on some instances but didn't on the others, because increasingly how social media companies deal with these requests is putting the spotlight on issues of freedom of expression. This time around, Twitter categorically taking a very strident position, saying it's worried about the shrinking space for freedom of expression in India, and it's worried about the safety of its employees here in the country. Because in the past, the government has written to firms like WhatsApp, Facebook, and Twitter, warning them that whenever there is non-compliance with a request that seeks the removal of any objectionable material on their platforms, their local employees can face arrest.
And Neha, at the same time, Twitter is also struggling to comply with India's new IT rules.
Absolutely, and it's not just Twitter, it's all social media giants who fail to comply with a new set of rules that essentially require them to appoint officers who will work with the government to monitor content posted online and take down any content the government deems as inappropriate. What we've seen essentially is that many organizations, including Twitter, have said that this is a huge problem, and the Indian government, though, maintains this is an attempt to ensure that they can regulate and hold these platforms accountable for the kind of information that goes up there. But in case these companies fail to comply, they become criminally liable for any information that's posted on their platforms. We've seen WhatsApp already has sued the Indian government, saying these laws will essentially mean that the privacy protections embedded in its platform will be breached. Twitter also putting out a statement today saying that it feels that this is a dangerous overreach, and I'm quoting now, and it's inconsistent with open democratic principles, and it's concerned about the proactive monitoring and the blanket authority to seek information about its customers. Now, Twitter has sought a 3-month extension to comply with these regulations, but the Indian government says all social media platforms have just 15 days.
Well, thanks for getting us up to speed with that. Neha Punia speaking to us from New Delhi.